This is a special interview for me because this is supposed to happen in the making a long time ago. It's my little brother, little big brother, I should say, or big little brother. I don't know how you want to put it. Nigga, 260 pounds, 250 pounds of pure, massive lyrical content. Dude beast. Dude is the CEO of 10 Island Records, 420 Ballerz, beast. Mr. Lord E.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be on the show, you know what I mean? How you been doing?
Shit, chilling, little bro, man. What got you into music, man?
Well, what got me into music was I growing up in a house with you and Mama. Of course, you remember the bookshelf full of records and all that stuff, and the Saturday morning cleanups from when she was playing the oldies. You know how it was. If you didn't want to hear the music, go on outside, but you better be gone all day type of deal. So I stuck around a few times for them cleaning sessions and got into the golden oldies, you know, like the Carlos Santanas, the Shaka Khan and Rufus,
Right.
Delphonics, you know, the list goes on. Like, you know, Mom was well-rounded in music, so she passed it down to me and put the bug into me, and I always knew I could sing. And when I found out I could write music by myself and started formatting my style, then is when I actually got into music. But my mom was a big influence on that, as well as you, because the stuff that you handed me down, you know what I mean, from the Uncle Luke's to the, you know, the Dayton families, the Rex and Effects, you know what I mean?
DJ Magic Mike's and all that stuff.
Yeah, DJ Magic Mike, DJ Smurf, you know what I mean? Like, all them old time Southern bangers that used to be out back then, and not just even the Southern bangers, but just music in general. Like,
the East Coast
head.
stuff, you know what I'm saying? Rakims and all that. Man, I used to get my ass whooped listening to Two Live Crew in the house. Man, what's that you listening to? Man, beat my ass listening to some Two Live Crew. I
made my mama break Uncle Luke's Scarred CD like 2 times, and then the third one I bought, somebody stole it from me. So
I think you had it better than me though coming up. So when it came to that part of it, so really. But other than that, man, that's cool music. So when you went to high school and you had like you was in choral, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was in chorus. I was in started off in the middle school on a basic glee club tip, you know how it is in middle school, and then when you get in high school, they have the main choir, and then you got the Tiger Chorale, which was like the advanced quartets and the advanced 6-person groups and stuff like that. So I did both of those actually, and some songs were great, some songs were boring, some songs were putting a certain stereotype, and I like all music, but you know, it's a time and a place for everything.
Now, you think as you came from out of high school, you moved on with your journey into music, and you started catching your niche in music, you know, your experiences in life, what genre you started? You say, I'm going to fall a certain genre. When did you feel that you're going to fall into a certain genre of music?
Well, when I was young, you know, that was when I'm not knocking nobody in the game or anything now today, but when I was young, you got to realize I was growing up when R&B was a perpetual part of anybody's day. You know, you can turn on the radio and hear It's My Prerogative by Bobby Brown, and it puts you in a different zone for that day. It puts you in a different mood. And that's what made me start noticing and paying attention to music. So I was growing up when Shy and H-Town and Jodeci and, you know, all these great groups, man, were out doing a thing. You know, Keith Sweat, you know what I mean? Old school, like all type of groups. I can go Escape, you know what I mean? I can keep going on all day, but that's when the time when R&B was really cementing itself, and hip-hop R&B was cementing itself, and that made me feel like, yeah, Jay, Johnny, Brownstone, I can keep going, you know what I mean? Like, for real, you know what I mean? Like, but that's what made me really want to cement myself, was that whole R&B movement from that era when music was, like, still forming into a body of work that was classified as a genre. And I was intrigued with the R&B part.
That's what's up. Now, what made you say, look, I got to get into this? I mean, I know you can sing and things and such forth, and I'm going to get back to that singing part later, because I know you can sing. Your singing is fucking outstanding, but then I feel that there's some other areas of your singing that I feel that if you had a singing coach in it, that'll up your singing up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But how do you, since I'm on the subject, how do you feel about constructive criticism about your singing? Because your singing is fucking sick.
I take it all day. You know what I'm saying? as me being a producer, as well as an artist.
You didn't younger though now. When you were younger,
yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants to listen to anything when you're young and you out there trying to be on your ones and twos by yourself, and even though you might get help from family members while you're trying to find yourself, you understand what I'm saying? But like, as you get older, you start learning how to take it because you're serious about honing your craft, and you need real opinions and not a bunch of yes men in the room. That's my biggest thing. Don't be a yes man. You know, tell me your real opinion on the song, because I have the ability to go back and change it.
You know, I would give you my honest, like, oh, that's shitty. Oh, that's great. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's 555. Oh, that's 55555. That, oh, dog, I like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I would tell you that in a heartbeat. And like I said, your singing style is fucking sick. Your singing style has actually went up 6 notches from when I used to hear you sing back in the days. Like when you used to get to that point and you hit that hit, then you crack a second. I'm like, oh, you cracked right there. But the fuck, you know how to, you caught it and you keep it going. Now I don't even hear you do none of that anymore. You know what I mean? So you fucking good.
It's all from self-harnessing and self-learning and just hitting the lab and being diligent with the due process of putting a song together, you know what I mean? So it's just all the hard work and hours that I put in that made me, you know, actually be hard on myself, and remembering what I done went through with different people outside of you when I was producing and learning how to produce up under you and everything. Because if it wasn't for you, it really wouldn't have been like me taking it in my own hands if it wasn't an experience that I went through with So Deaf that made me go and put it in my own hands and everything like that. You understand what I'm saying? So when you taught me the basics on how to be an engineer and sound recorder, I took it and ran with it and put different tastes on different things, like, you know what I mean, from the different producers I've been around, from Jazzy Faye to Midnight Black. You understand what I'm saying? To Cold Blow. I've been around a whole bunch of producers that showed me different tactics and techniques on how to put your own spin on being a sound engineer or producer. It's not about the style of music that the artist is doing. It's about you knowing the effects and knowing what each effect does to the voice, and if you're trying to take it in that direction on the song.
That's what I'm talking about. And thank you for that. You know, me personally didn't think I was that big influence to your career, and that made me feel good. I mean, I know you say it and stuff, and I sitting there like, damn, was I really? Like, I really didn't take music that serious back then. You know what I mean? I took it.
Come on, man. When we was dropping them songs in the living room in New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? And you was teaching me, having me up under your wing and just showing me how to, you know, itemize the vocals and all that stuff like that, and correct problems when we didn't have pop-up filters on the mic and all that stuff like that, and we wasn't using the right mics, but we still had them songs sounding like $1 million songs back then.
Right. Ice Grill, you know what
I'm saying? Yeah. I listened to Lonely Days and Ice Grill last night on my Chromebook.
Yeah, you got to keep the hype real. Yes, indeed.
On the real.
So what got you rapping? Like, okay, your R&B, your singing is great, but what got you taking? What was your influence with rapping? Like your style. Not saying that you biting off a Twister or 3 6 Mafia or any of those dudes. What got your style to where you at now, or what inspired you with rapping, and who's your favorite rapper?
Okay, well, let's take this back to earlier in the conversation when I was telling you what era of music that I grew up in and listening to. Also, that was a time when if a person as a fan of music had their favorite artist, they would know everything about that artist, know everything about that record label. And back then it was more about aligning yourself with that artist and that label. So anybody who came after your favorite artist on that label, you were still buy their music because they was affiliated with that label because the label had your favorite artist. So back then it was broke up to Death Row Records, Bad Boy, Black Ground, which was Missy Elliott and Timbaland. And to me, that was the style that I honed to was Tim, Magoo, and Missy. And Missy kind of showed me through all their music that it's no laws in music. You are responsible for that sound. So if it sounds good to you and you on that beat and you rocking it and killing it and you locking that energy in, that's what music is about. If a person can hear that energy on the track and feel what you conveying in the song, whether it is R&B or rap, then you did your job because they know that it's real. So at that time, Missy and them was making the type of music that was making people move. It wasn't gangster. It wasn't murder rap. It wasn't R&B. It wasn't hip hop. It was just like feel good music all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Most definitely. Now you mentioned So Def. What went on with that? I remember you told me before, or you was gonna sign with So Def, or you was signed with So Def, and then you got incarcerated. What happened with that deal?
I had a preliminary contract. Like one of the last celebrations down south, it used to be this big thing called Freaknik. I know you know about it and everything like that. You've attended them yourself, but we ain't going on that. Yeah, for sure. But it was like, I want to say in almost the end of the 90s when one of the last Freakniks was going on, and I was actually in the Atlanta area with my auntie Peaches, rest her soul, you know what I'm saying? And I was living out there with her. And I had I don't know if you remember them old songs like Honey Caramel, Whipped Cream, some of my first R&B songs from back then. I did with Jermaine Dupree. I did 3 songs in the lab, and I DJ'd on Kensington Avenue in front of the Red Lobster for So Def on one of the last Freakniks. Like, I was there. I had walked all the way to their studio, bro, from all the way where Auntie Peaches stayed at that time, and walked all the way across town to this dude's studio because I was that hungry to get in the lab and get it cracking and just show how dedicated I was to my craft. And even in the earlier stages of Lord Ecstacy, L Bubble, and all that stuff, greatness before it was greatness, you know what I'm saying? I got taken advantage of because I got put in jail for 30 days over a little matter that it was just required 30 days jail time. And when I got out of jail, I was released from the contract, and they kept a little music and everything like that. So after being shat upon like that, you know what I mean, that really made me have a disdain for the music industry, but it also gave me that fuel to be like, I'm not going to be a person's meal ticket. I'm going to be my own meal ticket. That's what actually gave birth to Lord Ecstacy, was that whole experience right there.
And that's why you doo-dooed on him on that one song we did. I was like, man, he going in on goddamn Jermaine Dupree now. God.
Yes, sir. Yep. And so that's what made me the hungry beast I am on the microphone.
What was the name of that song that you went in? I can't remember. What was the name of that? Was it Ice Grill? Yeah, it was Ice Grill.
Yeah, it was Ice Grill.
You went in on that and you going to Ice Grill now. Like, goddamn now. Bye. I wish we had Ice Grill. I wish I had it now. I'll play Ice Grill so people can hear Ice Grill so they can hear what I'm talking about. If you got Ice Grill, send that thing to me and I'll put it on the show.
You're now listening to Ice Grill by Lord E and Smooth Sin.
We gotta keep the hype grill, gotta keep the ice grill. It's ice grill low, ice grill low. We gotta keep the hype grill, gotta keep the ice grill. It's ice grill low, it's ice grill low. We gotta keep the hype, yeah. Gotta keep the ice grill. I gotta keep the hype real. Coming out of right field. Damn right, I pack still. This Alabama and chill. Like entourage windshield from Midwest to Memphis town. Make the brat your new villain. Think of retiring yet, my friend. Consider me one of your skeletons, man. The hottest player to sing and rap. We could've made a couple of hundred stacks, but now I'm dissing you on this track.
Real mouth banking, ice house drinking, doing a damn thing, leave your marks stinking. When I get my grill on, I start blinking. Can't get with me, no gas in the tanking. KIG with me, TRR is flanking. Who the hell we thinking? 40 hits cranking. Jamming on this heat, unique with the skills. Stay on your feet and bounce with the ice grill on. Ice grill on, ice grill on.
We gotta keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill.
Ice grill on, get your ice grill on.
We gotta keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill.
Get your ice grill on, get your ice grill on.
We gotta keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill.
Get your ice grill on, get your ice grill on.
We gotta keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill.
Get your ice grill on, get your ice grill on.
Dirty South, keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill. Midwest, keep the ice grill. Gotta keep the ice grill.
Cranking hits.
East Coast, keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill. West Coast, keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill. Up north, keep the hype real. Gotta keep the ice grill. Yeah.
That was Ice Grill by Lord E and Smooth Sin. Now back to Lord E's interview.
You know, I'm a fan of Sugo Music, and they are a great label to actually allow you to do what you need to do, and they worry about the business end. So if I just put it in one statement, I'm in good hands with Allstate. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Took a long time, you know what I mean, to find the right fit for what I'm trying to do in the industry and what I'm trying to be in the industry. So they were the one who presented the best offer for me, and that's why I signed.
Are you getting any rotations overseas?
Yes, and you can also go to Apple Music or iTunes. You just type in Lord Ecstacy, and my material will pop up. It's also for sale. The maxi single for Superlative is on sale right now, and I'm working on releasing the new album called Euro Money in April, which is next month here, probably on the 25th or the 29th. So be on the lookout for that.
Any singles coming off of that?
Yes, first one will be Bentley Coupe, followed up by Poppin' Bottles.
I like that. Like both of them. 555. Now, are you on in the top in the billboards overseas right now, or in the United States?
Well, actually, I can say I'm charted, but since it was not since the Superlative was not a full album, it's not going to appear on the chart of the top 100 billboards because it's not classified really as an album. It's really like old school maxi single. The demographic of the music chain has changed. Like, they're dealing in not only in American currency, but they're also dealing in Bitcoin and stuff now, which is possibly what we're going to be dealing with as a currency here once the American dollar falls. But that's a whole nother subject. I'm not getting on that.
Man, so what? That's awesome. Now, since the internet has taken over, how you think the internet has affected the music business as well as the film business? You know, how has it affected your business in music?
The internet has affected growth through not only through my music, but just any other artist's music, because it's like before it was so hard to get a hold of anybody's stuff before it came out. And if it did, it was going to be a problem then and there. But now it's so easy to dismantle a new artist album or your favorite artist album before it even comes out, and you still get the tracks for free, and you don't even have to go buy the album really. And that's what's killing. It's really no locks on the internet to what you can do. When they gave us the internet, it's like, here's the keys to all the industries that you want to tamper with, so tamper on.
Yeah, piracy is something, man, and that affects me in the film business as well. You know, especially when you're trying to get content out there and you want to get distribution, and before you got people in the streets already got your movie out, just like the you know, people got your track, your whole album out already. Like, damn, how the hell you get my album already and they ain't even released? I'm supposed to release next week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
God damn, how you get that? Oh man, I got that offline, dog. You can go in right here. And they're like, what the hell is going on around here?
It's in some secret site, you know, that's not being governed, monitored by the government or anything. But yeah, I understand what you say about piracy, but I got my start kind of with piracy because, you know, mixing and sampling is still considered piracy to this day, but they don't understand that this is a new form of taking the old and putting something new together and paying homage to a whole generation of music that inspired people to be trying to do this, you know, because if you ask me, I'm still the underground reigning king to this day. Whether I go mainstream tomorrow or just stay in the underground, I still got the crown, and I ain't retiring no time soon.
Speaking of that, now there were some times where you felt you was deep down in the muck, as I in this journey wanted to give up. When you got to that point where you wanted to give up, what was that point to say, man, fuck it, I gotta get out of this this muck and rise and continue on this journey and get over this obstacle?
Well, it's two people responsible for me not giving up on music, and one, that is my mother, and two, that is now my wife, who is Queen E, you know what I mean, your sister-in-law. So at the same time, the first time I wanted to give up on music, I was in a dark place in my life, and my mom talked to me over the phone, and she was like, this is when cable was kind of still in its infancy, so we had VH1 and all that stuff like that, but VH1 was still kind of a video hits channel like MTV, but they also showed documentaries, and she watched this one documentary on Gwen Stefani and No Doubt, and the story inspired her so much that she had to retell it to me. So I'm on, you know how mama do, so I'm on the phone forever while she's trying to accumulate the point to the story. But in the short version is that Gwen Stefani and No Doubt toured the country out of their own van for like maybe over 11 years before they even got into the industry and blew up how they did. So that kind of made me not give up the first time when she gave me that pep talk and stuff like that about that whole situation. And I was like, well, you know, if they did it for that many years before they got their claim to fame, you know what I'm saying? Well, I must be just still in the process of paying dues. So well, and the second time that I almost gave up was people were sabotaging the equipment and everything, you know, people that was affiliated with me that I've been in the trenches with, and a certain lifestyle that I used to live in Illinois and Chicago and stuff. And after it happened, I couldn't record for, I want to say, I don't know, how long was it, babe? Like 4 or 5 months, right? You know, I couldn't record for like 4 or 5 months, and I had so much music going on in my head and writing it and having the ability to go record it when I wanted to and everything like that. And me not being able to record it was offsetting the creative process because it's not the same for me. When I come up with a song and I write it down on a piece of paper, 9 times out of 10, I'm going right in the lab and I'm going to do it, capture the concept and perfect it until it becomes the song that's in my head.
All right.
So after that, you know, my wife had this old desktop computer that she wasn't really using anymore, and she gave me the desktop computer, and I had a friend at this restaurant that I was working with that was a computer whiz that could get any program, anything you wanted for nothing. And he came over and brought it on a zip drive, dropped the program on my computer, and bam, I was back recording again. And the first song I did was Me and You. And that was kind of like in the womb process of me making my girl my wife. So
that's what
a lot of R&B after that came from me chasing her.
No, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's a movie in itself and a love story too. Now the hood life. Now I want to, you know, I ain't gonna say I ain't no spring chicken or nothing like that, but I know I did some darkness in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I was you know, what I say. I've done some stuff. What inspired that was I an inspiration? Because, you know, from Chicago, you know, you living with dad and all that stuff like that, or whatever case may be. Was I an inspiration for you living that thug life, or was that something that you just did on your own?
No, because, you know what I'm saying? You know how family dynamics are. you idolize your older brother or your older sister or whatever sibling you latch on to and you want to be like that person. Or in that case, it might directly inspire sibling competition or rivalry. Like, okay, anything you can do, I can do better or whatever like that. So, you know, yeah, you inspired me to do the thugging thing when you was doing it or whatever like that. And I'm like, well, shit, if this nigga can do this shit, you know, excuse my French, but
you could cuss on
I
this
can
show.
do it. Yeah, you know, I can do this shit better than, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make sure that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And that's how I'm going to live, if that's how I'm living, you know. And I kind of took it to the extreme in my case, but I reverted away from that. I mean, you can't never really get out of the organization or anything like that. But let's just say, you know, I put in my time on that side of life, and it ain't nothing good to come to fruition out of that. Like, it's a fast lifestyle. You might get instant gratification out of it. You might get them club nights where you the man, you the king of the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? You got the belt, you know, all that shit. But it ain't nothing. It's nothing like the family life, you know.
Right.
Me being married and having a family and seeing my kids and stuff. I want my kids to be better. I want them to do better than what I was. I don't want them to make the choices that I made and the path that I went down.
They can sound like me,
but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I never become a household name and never be millionaire through the music, and if I stay the underground king, I show them that you still are supposed to fight for your dreams and aspirations. Because I'm going to be 65 years old. As long as I can get up and down them steps, I'm going to be on the mic.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Man, let's talk about this back in 2004. I know this is going to be, because the world got to see, hey, this is the brighter side and the darker side of our relationship. You know, our relationship has been up and down. You know, I love you like a brother. I know at times you thought I hated you, which I never hated you. I just disliked some shit that went down in our past. But at the same time, you still my brother. You still my baby brother. I love you with all my heart. And at the same time, there was a point where we had a fallout, and you took my music, and then you came back and you started talking shit to me, and then there started a little beef between you and I. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because I remember you did the answer song to the fire song I did.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was you know, man, I was at a dark place myself and going through that shit with Denise, and you know what I'm saying, knowing that I really didn't want to do no diss song on Dust My Own Brother and shit, but I was like, fuck it, I'd do something. And then I sent that shit to Dana, Mastermind. Mastermind was like, man, what the fuck, this is it, you know, all that. I'm like, man, you just went in, blah, blah, blah. And I was waiting for you to answer. You was like, you know what, you not answering was the answer to say, man, let me stop doing this shit, because you don't give a fuck about what I just said. I said, you don't give two shits about what the fuck I said, so I was like, I ain't gonna do no more, fuck it. You know what I mean? And I guess that's the best answer. Like the Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma thing. I think Nicki did answer finally, but she was quiet the whole time. Like, man, fuck that. I don't have to. Bitch, I got more fucking Grammys than your motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? She's like, what the fuck I need to fucking dish your old ass for? You know what I'm saying? Like, really?
Right.
Yeah, that's funny, man. But I think your life story will be something to be told, man, big time. You know, When the Bell Rings was one thing, but your life story will be something to be told. Plus, you and your wife. I'm about to be married. I'm getting married, and so that's point. Who is your favorite rapper today?
Well, I can't even give it to like one artist, and to be honest, because everybody know my doppelganger is fizzling out right now. When I say my doppelganger is Drake, because, you know, if I would have had a chance to get my foot all the way through the door, that singing and rapping formula that he's got, even though it's fizzing out like RC Cola, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's, I could have been that, you know, and I could have had the wheels on the bus turning a little longer than what he had, obviously, but at the same time, like, I can't give it to one artist, you know, because I got several influences, male and female, you know, like from the old school and new school. You know, I got Rakim, I got Big Daddy Kane, Big L, Biggie Smalls, you know, Luda, Jigga Man, Pop, You know what I'm saying? I even got A+, you know, Cardan, Jermaine Dupree in some cases, even though, you know, the experience that I had with him wasn't great, you know, and Missy Elliott, and from the R&B side, I got influences like, you know, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Hall & Oates, you know, the list goes on. You can even say Rick Astley, Michael McDonald, you know, old school stuff. You know, I love it. That's me. That's what inspires the formula for my music.
And that's what's up, man. So where can your fans find you on Facebook or on your social media?
Well, they can find me on Twitter under Lord Ecstacy. They can find me on SoundCloud. You can go to Xpill or Lord Ecstacy, and all my music is there for your listening pleasure. Music is being sold on all platforms that you can think about, from iTunes to Apple Music on down. I'm also #1 on Reverb Nation and have been for a whole consecutive year. They just sent me an email congratulating me on that. So I haven't even changed the song for a whole year. And the song that is the reigning king is Low. It's a song featuring myself and myself. I had to say that.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? I'm just grinding, man, how I can, you know, as long as I stay active, you know, I'll get that big chance, and when I do, trust me, I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna shine.
What inspired words of wisdom can you give to someone trying to make it to where you at now, or just to get in the biz? What kind of inspiration can you give them?
Well, all I can say is get your grind on, and when I say that, I mean you have to grind everywhere. If you got to do talent shows and you don't win, just to get an original piece of work out there that you're doing and perform it to the best max, you have to go to the small venues like the cafes, the pubs, and, you know, events at parks and stuff like that. Just get your brand out there. Do what you have to do to get your image and brand out there. You know, grind with the local radio stations. They are very helpful. And you know what? Also, the collegiate radio stations, they're very helpful, because most people don't know that collegiate radio stations are monitored by A&Rs on a regular. And if they hear something hot on that collegiate level that's not being played on the mainstream level, it will get converted over, because that person will get found and get made contact with. You understand what I'm saying? So you just get out there, never give up. Don't let people tell you that your sound is not what's popping because it don't got auto-tune, or it's not that mumble rap crap. So
right.
If you got you a good flame style and it's original and it's all you, stick with it, because it's gonna pay off no matter what the obstacle. You know, well, best show ever. You know what I'm saying? Keep tuning in to the podcast to listen to your favorite heard of and unheard of people, because that's what this show is about. Giving everybody the attention they deserve when they grind.
And thank you, and Nat, thank you very much. And that's Lord Ecstacy, L Bubble, the 420 baller in the building. You know what I mean? And much love to you, and your missus, and everything that you got going for you in the near future, man.
For sure, man. Love you too. 420.